And welcome back to our weekly creature feature. Today, if you've seen on Facebook, we are talking about the hedgehog. Now, as always, feel free to say hello, let us know how you're doing. If you have any questions about our creature or our hedgehog today, feel free to jump in and list those in our comment feed. We'll be happy to answer. If we don't get to them during our creature feature while it's live, we will come back and try to get to them later. So, to start off, we're talking about our hedgehog. Now, there's a lot of different species of hedgehogs that do exist throughout the world. They are an old world species, meaning that they're only found over in Europe, Africa, and Asia. I'll show you a map here shortly. Our hedgehogs that we are talking about today is a domesticated type of hedgehog. They came mainly from African pygmy hedgehogs, but there's been discussion that maybe they were crossed with some other species to get our hedgehog now today in its domestic capacity, or as some people have as pets. So that's what we're going to be focusing today, is more of our pet hedgehog that we have here at the shield. And as you can see, they are mammals. So let's see again, do you guys remember what makes an animal a mammal? So we'll go through a few things. So first, they have to have hair or fur. So we are mammals, we have hair on our heads. We have to be warm-blooded. Okay, so that means they make their own body heat, just like us. We also give live birth, except for a few species of mammals that lay eggs. They're all from Australia and New Zealand. So bonus points if you comment and let us know what species of mammals lay eggs. And it's not just the most common one. So we'll see if you guys can get that. There are multiple species that actually lay eggs. But the majority of animals...
Check your pack. I don't think they can hear you.
I said it was on. Yeah, it's on. Okay. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. It says it's on. If it's not working, it's not working. Anyways, okay. So again, so if you come up with that, but otherwise, hedgehogs do give live birth. And then what mammals do is they feed their babies milk when young. So those are the key things that make us or help us know that a mammal is a mammal. So we're mammals, hedgehogs are mammals. Hedgehogs are also carnivores. So if you look kind of at this picture, they have a great sense of smell, also a great sense of hearing, so they can find insects and things like that. They are insectivores. They love to eat a different variety of grubs, things like that. They find the dirt. They actually got their name, it's very simple, because they like to be found in hedges, so they root around in hedges, try to find those grubs and insects and things to eat, and then they make grunting noises like pigs or hogs, so hedgehog. That's how it got its name. People do actually sometimes put these in their gardens in Europe and other places to actually help eat the insects and stuff that are trying to get into their gardens, so that's kind of cool and interesting. And then I was telling you about where they live. So here's kind of a map. So I said they're old world, which means they're not in the Americas. So they live in a lot of places in Europe, into Asia, and then in Africa. And as I said, they think that our domesticated hedgehog came from the African pygmy hedgehog. So that's where you're going to find them. Another thing too, they get commonly confused with, or talked about with, porcupines. And I'm telling you about how hedgehogs are old world because porcupines are new world. You can find them in the Americas. So it's really cool. These two animals, even though they have similar defense mechanisms, did not come from the same type of animal. They develop separately from each other and develop similar mechanisms of protecting themselves. So to talk about that mechanism, you'll notice we know that porcupines have quills. Hedgehogs have spines. And question for you guys, are these hair? Their spines or their quills? So we said they're mammals. They are hair. They're specialized hair. They're made out of keratin, so like your fingernails, and they actually are hollow. So they're sharp. It helps protect them. Now, another question for you guys. Do porcupines, and maybe even hedgehogs, do they shoot their quills or their spines? I know the movies make it seem like porcupines can shoot their quills, but they cannot. So both these guys protect themselves using those spines or quills, but they do it a little bit differently. Our hedgehog is going to curl up in a ball, flex his or her muscles, and stick out those spines. And it's going to make it not fun to eat. But there are some natural predators of hedgehogs. Our porcupine, on the other hand, is going to stick out its quills, run backwards at its predator, and try to stab it and have them break off. And that's how it protects itself. So a little bit different. As I said, they develop separately. They are not related, but they do have some similar cool adaptations that help them survive. Also, we were talking about quills. So the difference between baby versus adult. So do quills, can they reproduce those quills? Do they keep coming back? And the answer is no. Now what's cool is babies are born in a kind of a fluid-filled sac, so those quills do not hurt their mom. And that'll go away after a couple of days, dry out. The baby has softer quills, but around or up to 6 months, at some point in there, they'll start a process called quilling, where they shed these softer quills or spines, and they come in hard and are able to be a lot harder and more of a defense. To give you an idea, if you stuck your hand in a pile of toothpicks going in different directions, it kind of feels like a hedgehog. That's the closest I've been able to find. So it doesn't hurt, but it's also not really comfortable. So before we meet our live hedgehog today, does anyone have any questions about hedgehogs? So awesome. We'll get to our favorite part where we actually get to meet our live animal. And today we're meeting Teddy. So give me one moment to get him out. He is sleeping because these guys do tend to be nocturnal or active more during the nighttime. So give me just one moment to wake him up and get him ready. He is used though to eating in the morning, so he does wake up sometimes to eat at this time of day. So this is not abnormal for him. Hey, Bob. I know, baby. Okay, guys, so this is Teddy. So he is our hedgehog here, our ambassador hedgehog here at the Shield Museum. Now, he makes an awesome animal ambassador because you can see right now he is not curling up in that ball. He's not trying to be defensive. He's not scared. He's inquisitive and wants to see what's going around in the world around him. So that makes him a really great ambassador because he's not trying to hide. He's not scared of what's going on. However, that also means though he wants to explore. So he can be kind of moving a lot and things like that, so I'll do my best to kind of let you guys see him, but he's going to want to keep walking in my hands, and if he gets too antsy, I'll put him back. So I'll give you guys a chance to see him. Now, Teddy here came from the Hedgehog Society. We adopted him. They rescue pet hedgehogs. A lot of people don't understand how to take care of hedgehogs, and so that's how we got him. He was actually adopted along with bought along with his brother by a family from a pet store, and they said, hey, hedgehogs do great together. They do not. Hedgehogs do not like to be together, and so they actually were attacking each other, sadly, and that's why the family donated them to the Hedgehog Society, where we were able to rescue him. And as I said, since he makes an awesome animal ambassador, he's great for education, he was perfect for us. He got his name Teddy because the lady who rescued him thought his face kind of looked like a teddy bear, so that's how he got his name. Hedgehogs do have different colored faces, so they don't always necessarily look the same kind of coloration as his does. They'll vary in coloration. Now you can see, we give everyone a chance to kind of see these spines, that if he were scared, he'd curl up in a ball and stick those out. Right now they don't feel rough or anything. They don't hurt me at all. The other thing, it's kind of hard to see, but he does have hair on his belly, so we'll see if he kind of helps us see that. So he is covered in hair on his belly, so that's regular hair, fur, it's soft, and that's to just kind of protect his skin. So anyone have any questions about Teddy or hedgehogs at this time?
Is he making any noise?
He is. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it. He makes a lot of sniffing noises. So that's what he's doing right now. He's just sniffing around, seeing if there's food, things like that. As I said, they have a great sense of smell and hearing, not as much eyesight. So he's using that to kind of see what's around him and to kind of see if it's safe. So any other questions? So I know on Facebook we get asked by Sam, what's his name? So we learned that, Teddy. And what does he do for fun? So what he likes to do is at night he wakes up and he runs on his wheel. So kind of like a hamster wheel. He has a wheel he can run and run and run and play on. He also gets up and eats. So he'll eat his food. I said he's an insectivore. But they'll also eat sometimes a little bit of plants and fruit. And so he'll wake up, he'll eat his hedgehog food, so he has a specialized diet of dry food. We also give him live insects. So he'll eat crickets and mealworms and roaches and things like that. So if you join us in 2 weeks for our virtual bug week, you might get to see Teddy actually eating some of his favorite snacks, his insects.
Are his teeth big?
He has small teeth. They are not big. A lot of what hedgehogs do is they use their nose to kind of root in the dirt. and find those grubs and things like that and those insects, and then are just munch them down. So not huge teeth like a rodent's teeth. Okay, awesome. Some other questions we got asked. Are hedgehogs marsupials? So do you guys remember what a marsupial is? When we met our possum, we talked about that, right? So he does not have a pouch, or she, if it was a female hedgehog, does have a pouch to raise their young. So they are not marsupials. Our only marsupial in the Americas is our possum. It's cool. Any other questions?
Do they like to play in the water?
Let's play in the water. Okay, so I've seen videos of people having their hedgehogs in water. I think it's based on an individual hedgehog. I cannot find any information looking at hedgehogs that love to play in water or enjoy water. Now, something they do that is very interesting. They do a process called self-anointing. What that means is if they come in contact in their environment with a new smell, they will actually kind of foam at the mouth and take that smell and spread it all over their quills. And the reason they do that is to actually help blend in with their environment. So they smell like their environment, so hopefully predators can't find them. If you're curious what might try to eat a hedgehog, foxes, badgers, things like that have actually been known to try to eat hedgehogs. So it is possible. It doesn't feel very good to them, but they do have some natural predators besides humans.
Are his claws sharp?
They are not super sharp. We do keep them trimmed here just for his health because he can't really wear them down as much as if he were in the wild. But no, they're not super sharp. As I said, he uses more of his nose to kind of dig in the dirt than his claws, but he can use those to kind of find that food that he eats.
Are they fast like Sonic the Hedgehog?
They are not quite as fast as Sonic the Hedgehog, although as you can see, they can move fairly quickly if they want to get away. But their last defense is going to be curling up in that ball and sticking out these spines to protect themselves. Awesome. So one other cool fact I want to tell you guys real quick that I learned today, that I thought was very interesting when I was looking into hedgehogs, is they think that the Romans used to use hedgehogs like we use groundhogs to kind of decide, do we have more winter or not. And that when people came to the Americas, they didn't have any hedgehogs, so decided to take our groundhog friend and use it for the same way. Now, hedgehogs don't really hibernate, but they will go into a state of dormancy in winter when it gets too cold. The ones that live in the desert, though, like our African pygmy hedgehog, they'll actually be more dormant during the really hot weather and stay hidden during that time. So any other questions before I put Teddy back?
What is their natural habitat?
So there's actually hedgehogs that live in a variety of habitats. So as I said, there are some desert species. There's also ones, though, that live in Europe in more like brush and tall grass and things like that. So they can be found in hedges, hence the name, and they'll be found in gardens and such.
Are they hard to keep as pets?
Okay, so the thing with hedgehogs that has to do with pets, there's a couple of important things to know. They can carry salmonella. So there have been cases of people getting sick, especially young children who touch things and then, hands go in the mouth and things like that, because they can carry salmonella. Now, just like reptiles carry salmonella, if you have a really clean environment, it's not as likely to happen, but it is a possibility, so you have to be aware of that. So I wouldn't say they make a good pet for anyone with young children. They are a nocturnal animal, so just like your hamster, they're going to want to run and be active at night. So if you're going to have it in your bedroom, you're going to hear that going on at nighttime. It might keep you up. They also need to have a certain temperature, so they like to be in the higher 70s for a lot of species, so sometimes you need a heating pad or something like that to help them out. But just like your hamster like to run around a lot, like to play, they don't take up a lot of space since they're fairly small. They do like to use the bathroom, though, a fair amount, so they need daily cleaning. And the other thing that's really good is they need a varied diet, so it's important to be able to feed them some live insects, which I know can be hard to do at home as a pet.
Do they nest in holes or brush?
Yes. So as I said, you can find them in hedges and stuff like that. They can be found, they are able to dig a little bit, have a burrow, but they're more likely to be found in brush and things like that. You're doing a great job, buddy. Yeah. Anything else? Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us. I'm going to put him back. As you can see, he is very active right now, and he's probably looking for his food because he hasn't gotten his breakfast this morning. This is the time we normally wake him up, give him a chance to kind of walk around and explore in our animal room and eat breakfast. So instead, he's here joining you guys. He's happy to be here. But to finish up, why do we have a hedgehog as an animal ambassador here at the show? And there's a couple of reasons. One, we like to give animals a second chance here, so if we can work with rescues and other organizations to adopt animals and give them another facility, a way to have a better life, we're very happy to do that. That's how we got Teddy. Another thing is 4th and 5th grade here in North Carolina, it's very important that we learn about adaptations, and so hedgehogs are a great mammal to talk about adaptation, how they have that specialized hair, how they protect themselves. So that's why we have our animal ambassador hedgehog here at the Show Museum. Well, if you still have questions, feel free to jump in. I'll be happy to answer them after this live feed's over, but thank you guys for joining me this morning for our creature feature, and next week we're going to do our Eastern king snake. So please join us next week. Thank you guys again. Have a wonderful day.